Peak harvest season should be a farmer's most profitable time of year. But when millions of tons of tomatoes hit the market all at once, supply completely overwhelms demand. Prices plummet, and those massive piles of surplus crops are often left to sit and rot, creating a severe financial drain on the growers. Small-scale farmers and entrepreneurs in India developed a practical workaround for this exact problem. Instead of throwing away perfectly good tomatoes, they intercept the surplus and convert it into shelf-stable, value-added products like tomato flakes and powder. That exact framework can be applied directly to the United States market. You can take advantage of local surplus pricing to launch a retail-ready packaged food brand on a surprisingly lean bootstrapped budget. This strategy relies on shifting away from private hardware ownership. By utilizing existing processing infrastructure rather than purchasing it yourself, you keep your initial overhead low and protect your margins from the start. The first step in building this supply chain is deciding exactly how you will source your raw material. You have two viable paths: growing the crops yourself or buying them from local growers. This flowchart outlines the active farming route: input quality compost, secure seeds, and set up drip irrigation for a 70 to 100-day timeline. But you don't need land. Skip farming entirely by buying bulk surplus directly from farmers when market prices drop. A common error at this stage is paying retail grocery prices for your supply. Your margins rely on negotiating those bulk wholesale rates right at the farm gate. Securing high-quality, discounted raw material is the financial foundation of the business. Every dollar saved during the surplus season increases the potential profit of the finished product. Once you have your bulk supply, the raw tomatoes require immediate sorting and washing. They then need to be precisely sliced into thin, uniform pieces. At this point, new entrepreneurs often assume they need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on heavy commercial dehydrators and industrial grinders to process the slices themselves. Compare the heavy capital to purchase equipment on the left to zero upfront cost on the right. Outsource to a licensed food processing facility. They run slices through commercial dehydrators or solar dryers, extracting moisture. Then, their mills produce a uniform, moisture-free powder. Attempting to air-dry tomatoes at home carries severe risks. You are highly likely to introduce mold growth into the batch, and you will immediately violate local commercial food production laws. Utilizing an existing licensed facility solves both problems at once. You guarantee a consistent, commercial-grade product, and you automatically comply with health and safety regulations. By renting time on someone else's equipment, you avoid the burden of heavy manufacturing. The operation shifts into a low-risk logistics and branding business. With your finished powder ready, you move into productization. Step 1 is choosing a clean brand name that signals quality, something like Fresh Harvest or Red Valley. The very next step is your most critical physical requirement. The ground powder must be immediately transferred into premium, airtight bags. If you use standard, non-airtight packaging, the powder will absorb moisture from the surrounding environment. It will clump and spoil, ruining your entire production batch. Finally, your packaging needs to meet legal standards for the United States. You must clearly display your brand name, a full ingredients list, the exact net weight, and the maker's address on the back of the pouch. A high-quality moisture barrier protects the food, while accurate, compliant labeling protects the business. Together, they turn a simple raw powder into a legitimate product ready for store shelves. To secure your first sales, start local. Take your newly packaged product to community farmers markets, or pitch it to regional Asian and Indian grocery stores where tomato powder is a demanded staple. You can also build a wholesale pipeline. Pitch your powder in larger volumes to local restaurants, pizza shops, and hotels that need consistent, shelf-stable ingredients. Once your local foundation is set, expand your reach digitally. Establish online product listings on Amazon and Walmart Marketplace, or sell directly to customers through your own website. However, before you commit to massive orders, you must run a small test batch. Take a limited supply to your first few buyers to confirm they like the quality and are willing to pay your target price. Validating your product with real customers locally keeps your initial exposure low. You confirm the demand is there before you commit heavy resources to mass production. At this stage, you have successfully taken cheap, surplus tomatoes and converted them into a premium, shelf-stable retail brand, all without ever owning a single piece of heavy machinery. This graphic illustrates the blueprint for long-term growth. You take the profits from that initial small batch and pour them directly back into purchasing larger volumes of raw material and expanding your marketing reach. With each cycle, the production volume grows. By funding your own expansion entirely through generated profits, a modest side project steadily scales into a self-sustaining operation. Building a profitable food brand doesn't require massive amounts of startup capital. It requires strategic outsourcing to bypass equipment costs, localized testing to confirm demand, and the discipline to reinvest your early profits back into the business.